Shall we start? Okay, let's start. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming today. This is our last meeting before we have a mid test. And today's meeting, we will focus on explore one of the greatest tool that I think every network engineer must be familiar with these tools. Uh, we call them as a Wireshark. This is a network packet analyzer. In every level of network engineer, you will find that Wireshark is very useful. Yeah, there are several benefits that you can get by using Wireshark. There will be four outlines. The first one is overview, and the second one is get familiar with the user interface of Wireshark, and the third one how we see OC layer in Wireshark, and the last one we are going to explore how to see or how to find the QoS quality of services parameter, not all parameter in QoS, but only some of them using Wireshark. Okay. What is Wireshark? Yeah, Wireshark is one of the packet analysis in network. It is open source license, so you can install it free. You can download it free, and then the most important with Wireshark that it's not only to capture the packet, but also you can save it, and then you can access again. Yeah, you can save the capture packet, and then you can access it again for post action. Yeah, what I'm saying about post action. For example, you want to do kind of a digital forensic in your network, you can use Wireshark. So that's overview of Wireshark. Why we use Wireshark? I think there are several reasons. The first one, as a sysadmin or network administrator, uh, sometimes you find a problem in your network. Yeah, maybe let's say that you work as a network engineer in data center, and then you find that your network, let's say one of your router cannot be accessed, one of your server cannot be accessed, and why your network suddenly become very slow. Yeah, then you of course need to analyze what happened to your network, and then you can use Wireshark to analyze. The second one is for security reason. Yeah, as like I say, one of the forensic, one of the field part of forensic, we call them a digital forensic, especially network digital forensic. uh, you need Wireshark to analyze where's the coming packet from. Yeah, what is the IP address of the source, who requests the packet, how to, let's say, how to capture the key when someone during the key exchange, when someone try to authenticate to your network. That's how we use Wireshark. And then for quality assurance, to verify your network application. For developer, of course, you need to implement to debugging, protocol implementation. Why we need to debug protocol implementation? Yeah, I have some experience. For example, one network, we need to connect to another network, and in the first network is using a different vendor with the other one, but we need to synchronize the protocol. That's why we will use Wireshark. Let's say that we develop an application to synchronize the network, and then we will verify that using Wireshark. Ya. Jadi kalau misalkan kita bikin satu aplikasi, kita bikin satu aplikasi yang tugasnya untuk sinkronisasi pada jaringan. Nah, kadang-kadang kita akan memverifikasi ini protokolnya sudah connect apa belum. Itu mudah dengan menggunakan Wireshark. Yeah. And the last reason for academia, to understand, to learn about the protocol in your network. Okay, I think that's why we use Wireshark. And then there are several features that provide or offered by Wireshark. You can use in Unix operation. You can use also in Windows operation, and then it can capture all the network, all the traffic from your LAN or wireless LAN, and then after you capture the packets, you can save it, and then if you want to analyze, yeah, after the or post action, it is very possible using Wireshark. And then it also over that you can, sorry, yeah, you can see the details of your packet, yeah, detail of your packet, uh, and then you can save it, even you can save it in the different format, yeah, in CSV. CSV is kind of Microsoft Excel, yeah, and many more. That's the feature workshop. So the first one, I think you need to start. If some of you haven't yet installed the Wireshark, please try to install the Wireshark, yeah, and then let me know if you find some issue, yeah. Yesterday, I teach this lesson as well in different class, and some of them find some issue related to the interface is not detected, yeah. So I think I will forward some information about that. Please wait. This is the tips that very useful. I'm sorry, the instruction in Bahasa. National. Okay. So that's two tips if you want to install Wireshark on your laptop. The first one, ensure that you install the latest version of Wireshark, because in my case yesterday, I use very old Wireshark. Some feature cannot be explored or is not available in my Wireshark. That's why please install the latest version of Wireshark. And then if you find an issue that interface is not detected on your laptop, yeah, like zero interface, of course you cannot use your Wireshark. Therefore, please install. Maybe the problems coming from your NPCap. Yeah, that's like a plugin. That's a plugin to access your interface. Yeah, network interface, like your wireless LAN card, your Ethernet card. Yeah, we need that. We need the NPCap ya to access your interface ya. Jadi kemarin saya ada dua isu juga ya. Yang pertama saya sudah punya Wireshark tapi tidak bisa punya fitur timestamp. Timestamp itu apa? We will see that in the coming slide. Terus yang kedua itu setelah saya install Wireshark yang terbaru, ternyata isunya tambah lagi. Jadi interface yang ada di laptop saya itu tidak terdeteksi gitu. Jadi zero interface. Kalau misalkan zero interface, otomatis Wireshark itu tidak akan bisa melakukan proses capturing. Jadi kalau misalkan it's like pipe ya, your network card is like a pipe, all the traffic through flow through that interface. Yeah. So if we want to access that all the traffic, yeah, it means that we need to access the pipe. Ya. Kalau misalnya kita mau akses itu traffic, berarti kan kita harus akses pipanya. Nah, ada problem tuh untuk mengakses pipanya. Ya, jadi harapan saya kalian install npcap-nya ya, npcap-nya yang terbaru. NPCap yang terbarunya itu 1.2 ya, 1.2. I've already uploaded the Excel file if you are using Windows ya. If you are using another operating system, I recommend to access from Nmap ya, Nmap website to find the latest version of NPCap that support your operating system. Ya, seperti itu. Siapa yang sudah punya Wireshark di laptopnya? Atau siapa yang belum punya Wireshark di laptopnya? Wireshark. So I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going to start to see to show you the Wireshark. Yeah, this is the Wireshark. Okay, the last issue that I found yesterday. Yeah, empty list of capture interface here. So I hope if you face the same issue, you can solve by install the latest version of npcap. Okay, let's continue with the slide. I think we will finish the slide first, and then in parallel, we will try to explore using our own Wireshark. The first one is user interface of Wireshark. Yeah, this is the first page. Yeah, this is the first page of application of Wireshark. As you can see, the in interface. Yeah, as you can see here, there are several interface that I could access. my Ethernet, my Wi-Fi. But for these cases, yeah, in this case today, at the moment I'm using Wi-Fi to access the internet, yeah, in my laptop. That's why, as you can see, only Wi-Fi and also the look back, yeah, look back, only Wi-Fi and look back, that has a different type of graphic here. It means that there is traffic flow through this interface ya. Jadi kalau misalkan kalian perhatikan di bagian tampilan awal di Warshak ya, di sini banyak sekali nih apa interface ya. Dalam kasus saya kenapa bisa banyak interface? Karena banyak yang virtual-virtual juga. Nah, ada dua nih yang agak grafiknya agak berbeda ya, Wi-Fi sama loopback ya. Kalau loopback itu kan internal ya, yang masuk ke dalam diri sendiri, ibaratnya begitu. Kalau Wi-Fi ini interface yang saya dapatkan dari apa namanya, yang saya gunakan untuk akses internet oleh laptop saya ya. Makanya yang ada grafiknya cuman yang ada di Wi-Fi saja, seperti itu. And then okay, let's try to capture, because I'm going to capture all the traffic coming through my Wi-Fi adapter. I will click my Wi-Fi yeah, and then start yeah, here. I'm going to start to capture. Now you can see yeah, all packets through my interface. There are several protocol. Yeah, you can see different destination address. You can see different source. We also find there is a time, and then the length, yeah, the length of the packets and everything. As you can see here, there are several packets coming with the UDP protocol. I think the issue is, I think this is not the issue, but this is the fact that we are now using video call using Google Meet. It means that we are accessing UDP. That's why you see here there are so many UDP packets here, because now I'm running a video call with you. So that's why you can see there are several many packets coming with UDP protocol. That's one of the example. Okay, we have a toolbar, we have a filtering, and then this is the packet list, and there are also packet details, and then packet by packet. So we separate in three different windows. Yeah, the first one is the list. Let's say I want to click this packet and I want to see the detail. If I want to see the detail, then I'm going to the second window here. What is the information inside? So this is some information. Yeah, this is some of the information I can find here, like flag, protocol, Ethernet 2, yeah, the MAC address. As you can see here, the layer 3. Yeah, layer 3, we see a different IP address for source and destination. And then for layer 4, we see UDP, yeah, user datagram protocol. This is the layer 4. And then we see our data here. And then if I want to see, if I want to see how the packet's coming, how the structure of the frame of the packet in byte versions, this is the information here. This is the byte. Jadi kalau misalkan di Warshak itu pasti ada 3 window. Ini adalah urutan paket yang datang. Kemudian ini adalah informasi yang ada di dalam paket tersebut. Kemudian kalau kita mau lihat aslinya, the original in byte format, ya, dalam format byte. Jadi sebenarnya dalam satu frame ini, misalkan saya klik di atas, itu ada berapa bytes yang dikirim gitu. Nah, ini kan panjangnya ketahuan nih, ada 1166 ya, 1166 ya. Ini jumlah paketnya dalam byte, makanya panjang sekali ini ke bawah. Nah, panjang sekali ini. Nah, ini informasinya. Nah, informasi ini dalam bentuk frame itu diterjemahkan, dibaca. Ya, nah, didapatlah informasi yang muncul di window yang kedua ini. Oke. Nah, yang di atas ini ya, yang di atas ini itu adalah apply a display filter. Jadi kalau misalkan kita mau melakukan filter, let's say misalkan saya mau tampilkan yang hanya TCP dan sebagainya gitu. Nanti kita akan apply filternya di sini. So we will apply the filter here so that we will only show based on our filter. Yeah. Okay. And then I think I have already finished with this one. Yeah, number it means the apa ya, urutan ya, urutan paket dalam file capture. Time ya, time yang di sini time yang di sini itu bukan time sebenarnya paket, tapi time di sini adalah the moment that the frame is captured on your laptop gitu. Jadi ini adalah waktu di mana paket tersebut di capture, ya, di capture masuk ke dalam laptop kita atau masuk di dalam pipe yang kita sedang awasi, gitu. Ya, ini time-nya. Ini IP address source, ya, dari mana request itu, kemudian destination-nya mau kemana, ini protokolnya UDP-nya apa, panjangnya apa, dan begitu seterusnya. Ya, oke. Now we are going to demo session, so hope you can open your own your Wireshark, and then let's try to capture, yeah, my Wireshark now in capture session, as you can see here, yeah, keep running, yeah, without stopping, and then I'm going to stop first, yeah, and then I'm going to restart again. Okay. That's how we start capturing the packet. Okay, I will stop it again. We have task here. We need to access HTTP technology demo. So this is one of the website. So please try open your browser. I'm going to open my own browser as well. So, saya akan buka saya punya browser juga, ya. Nah, ini browser saya. Kemudian saya akan coba akses, ya. Saya akan coba akses HTTP, ya, http://demo.io, http://demo.io. Oke, saya akan akses. So this is the website. Yeah, this is the website. So we are going to capture, yeah, how we see the traffic requests coming from my laptop and how the traffic coming from this website to my laptop. Yeah, we will capture both side traffic using Wireshark. Okay, now I'm going to start to capture first. Yeah. Jadi kita akan coba capture, ya, traffic yang muncul ketika kita mengakses atau meminta. Ini kan kita ketika kita melakukan ini, mengakses website ini, berarti kan kita request, ya, kita meminta. Ketika kita meminta, of course we send our data, ya, request data. Jadi kalau misalkan kita meminta, berarti kan kita akan kirim data untuk meminta, kan, gitu. Kita ngomong untuk meminta. Nah, traffic ketika kita meminta itu akan kita capture di Wireshark. Begitupun ketika trafficnya sudah diterima oleh si siapa namanya domain ini dan dia mengirimkan data-datanya, ini kan semuanya data-data nih. We see text here, we see picture here, we see numbers here, everything you see on the page is actually data. Semuanya data. Tentu dia bisa sampai dalam browser kita karena dia dikirim. Nah, paketnya itu dikirim, kita akan lihat trafficnya nanti seperti apa. Okay, so I'm going to start to capture, yeah, continue without saving. Yeah, I don't want to save the previous scan, and then I will start to refresh. Okay, now I'm going to start to refresh 2 times. Yeah, you can see where every time I click refresh, you will see HTTP shown in my Wireshark, and then I'm going to stop. Okay, that's the first one. We have already captured, yeah, we have already captured the traffic coming from and requested to HTTP to demo.io. So what's the next task? We did stop, and then we need to filter. Yeah, we need to apply the filter. Why there are so many frame here? Because actually I'm open, yeah, sorry, I open several window in my laptop, not only this browser. I have another browser, yeah, and then I open. Currently, I'm opening several tab here, active tab here untuk akses beberapa URL yang lain. Makanya trafficnya juga banyak yang di sini. That's why we need to filter out. Only we want to see is HTTP packet. How we implement that? We only type http.request for the filtering. http.request. So this is the filter, and then I'm going to press enter. Okay, now you can see we only show, yeah, we only see packets that use HTTP protocol. Okay, it means that this is, yeah, probably the packets HTTP demo. Let's try to click one of them, yeah, to verify here. Yeah, this is the host http2demo.io. So what's the information that we can get from here? The first one, we know that the destination address, which is the http2demo.io, actually has an IP address 87.187.162 and then .45. And I know from this information, the source address is, which is my own IP address, 192.168.1.2. How to verify that? I'm going to open, yeah, I'm going to open GMD because I'm using Windows, and then let's try to find my IP address, and this is my IP address. My wireless LAN. This is my wireless LAN. This is my IP address 1.2. So this is correct. This information is correct. This is my source address, and then this is my destination address. Okay, and all of this information, which is 89.45, it means all of them coming from this URL. Okay, let's try to see another task. Let's follow the protocol stream. Yeah, let's follow the protocol stream. I'm going to try to click and then follow the TCP stream. Now I can see here, so this is the detail of my packet. Yeah, this is the information. Yeah, this is the information, and then what exactly happened here? Jadi ini adalah request saya. Get, it means that I ask, ya, I try to ask the server. Gue minta dong gitu, saya minta dong, kamu bukain saya http demo.io, kasih saya datamu. Terus server give us a feedback. They say, okay, so 200 it means okay, response coming from the server. It says 200, it means they say, okay, I will send you my data. So that's exactly, and then they send all of the data. Maybe you can see ini kok grafiknya nggak bisa dibaca Pak gitu. Karena bisa jadi yang muncul di sini itu bukan data teks tapi gambar gitu. So it's not interpreted. Jadi dia tidak bisa diinterpretasikan gitu. Ya, itu problemnya. Tapi yang kita lihat di sini inilah proses pengiriman dan request data. Seperti itu, ya. Itu kita bicara follow TCP stream, okay? And then try to move another task. Yeah, we did this one. Yeah. Okay, the other task is how we see the OC layer in our workshop. I will show you one of the example here. Ya, kalau kita mau melihat, selama ini kan kita belajar nih OC layer, ada layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5, sampai layer 7 kan, 7 OC layer. Sebenarnya realnya itu seperti apa Pak kalau di dalam jaringan? I've already show you in, I think in the second meet on the week 2 or week 3 that I also open or using Wireshark to see layer 1 and layer 2. But let's complete all of them today. Ya, kita lengkapi semuanya hari ini. Kita mau melihat nih 7 OC layer. 7 OC layer itu dalam data itu bentuknya seperti apa sih gitu. Misalkan ya, ini saya buka dulu. Kita coba lihat beberapa paket ya. Let's say inilah. Ini kan apa namanya? Ini kan gambar ya. Kalau kalian perhatikan, yang muncul-muncul di sini itu ada beberapa gambar ya. Misalkan mana ya? Sorry. Cari deh. Ya, let's say inilah. Let's say ini kita request nih. Ini datanya dari mana kita request? Kita meminta untuk kita mengirimkan gambar. Ya, kita meminta untuk kita mengirimkan gambar gitu. Oke. Nah, ini coming from 1.2 which is my laptop, and then I request to the HT9. Saya request ke HT9, kasih dong saya ini gitu. Image the http background.png. Oke. Nah, itu dikirim gambar. Kemudian kita minta gambar. Kemudian kita dapat respon. Oke, kita dapat respon nih gitu. Nah, kita dapat respon. Responnya apa? Responnya adalah ini. Oke, saya kasih kamu nih gitu ya. Saya kasih kamu URL untuk gambarnya. Nah, Apa informasi yang bisa kita dapat? Pertama, frame ini ketika dia datang dari 89 ke 192 in our laptop gitu. Nah, kita bagi dia sepaketnya. Paket utuhnya kita terima itu ya, yang namanya paket itulah berasal dari start from 70, 74 here and end 0A here. Jadi berawal dari 74 sampai berakhir ke 02 dalam byte. Jadi kita kayak punya satu box, isinya box itu ya byte ini, deretan byte ini gitu. Nah, tugasnya network kita itu akan melakukan pemrosesan layer by layer. The first one they will access the layer one, and then they going through the layer two, layer three, and etc. Nah, the first one they will access frame here. Ya, layer pertama frame. Jadi kalau frame itu kan bicaranya the biggest size of or packet gitu, of your packet gitu. Jadi frame itu kan bentuknya yang paling besar. Jadi box paling besarnya itu namanya frame. Oke, apa yang dia baca dari frame? Ya, apa yang dia baca dari frame? Dia mencari tahu nih interface-nya apa, kemudian frame number-nya berapa, dan seterusnya. Itulah informasi yang bisa kita dapatkan dari frame, ya, dari sisi frame. Kemudian, we going through ya layer 2, ya. Di layer 2, jadi layer yang kedua, kalau kalian perhatikan, saya klik layer yang kedua Ethernet, ternyata dari sepanjang frame yang kita punya ini, ya dari awal 74, kemudian apa namanya, sorry, dari awal 74, ya, frame dari awal 74 ini sampai berakhir di 0A ini, kalau kita klik layer 2, ternyata headernya dari sepanjang itu cuma butuhnya sepanjang ini saja nih, ya, 74 sampai 00. Saya klik lagi Ethernet 2. Jadi informasi yang terkait dengan layer 2 itu hanya berada pada sebagian awal saja. Itulah yang disebut header. Yang kita pelajari selama ini, header itu apa sih Pak gitu. Nah, header itu inilah gitu untuk menandakan bahwa itu informasi yang ada di layer 2. Oke, saya klik Ethernet, ternyata ini informasinya. Kalau kita breakdown informasi apa yang kita bisa dapat, what information that we can get through this header, the first one is we know the destination and we know the source. Ya. Yeah? But not in IP address format, but in MAC address format. Kenapa? We know that in layer 2 we have physical address. Jadi kalau di layer 2 kita adanya layer fisik. Nah, inilah pengalamatannya nih, ya. Inilah pengalamatannya. Seperti itu, ya. Oke, inilah pengalamannya gitu. Ini destination kita yang ada address-nya, kemudian ini adalah source-nya, which is our laptop ya. Saya punya laptop gitu. Kalian bisa cek di punya kalian juga. Oke, and then we move to the third layer, ya, layer yang ketiga, IP address protocol. Oke, saya klik bagian IP address. Ternyata sepanjang paket itu hanya yang diblok saja itulah yang berisi informasi terkait dengan layer 3. Ya, what is the information inside? Apa informasi yang ada di dalamnya? Ya, berisinya peralaman IP address. Ada source destination address, destination IP address, dan ya sisanya mungkin ada header checksum, ya, kemudian ada fragment offsetnya apa, kemudian ID-nya atau identifikasinya apa, dan seterusnya. Tapi prinsipnya ya yang kita dapatkan informasi di sana, ya layer 3 itu ada di bagian sini, yang sedang diblok ini. Oke, sorry, ya layer 3, ya layer 3. Kemudian kita masuk ke layer 4, what is the protocol? Ya, untuk tipe data ini, for this type of data that requested, ya, untuk image ini, ternyata ya, this kind of data is sent using TCP protocol. Ya, data ini desain itu menggunakan protokol TCP, not UDP. Okay, how we get there? How we know that? From here, yeah, transmission control protocol. And then we also know there is source port and destination port. And then we have ACK, sequence, and everything. Ya, jadi apa informasi yang lain yang kita bisa dapatkan di sini ya? Informasi yang lain yang kita bisa dapatkan di sini adalah kita jadi tahu bahwa ketika misalkan kita sudah masuk ke dalam layer 4, maka di sana itu we need to specify our port. Ini what kind of addressing ini? Apa ini pengalamatan yang seperti apa ini yang namanya port gitu. Saya kasih gambaran, I will give you an illustration. Let's say you have a house and then you have a different door ya. Let's say in your one house you have 10 doors. Jadi di dalam satu rumah kalian punya 10 pintu. Actually you access each of the door based on each application on that. Jadi kamu akan mengakses setiap pintu tersebut tergantung aplikasinya apa. Nah, dalam kasus ini karena saya mengaksesnya itu adalah apa namanya? Karena saya yang mengaksesnya itu adalah HTTP ya atau website, maka port yang saya gunakan itu port 8080 gitu atau di sini portnya 80 seperti itu. Nanti kalau misalkan kita mengakses email ya, let's say we have an email services, of course you will access a different port. Ya, that's why itulah kenapa ya there is no collision ya. Jadi tidak ada tabrakan itu terjadi kalau misalkan di browser saya itu saya buka apa namanya website biasa. Di website yang lain saya buka misalkan video call gitu. Kok mereka nggak tabrakan? Di website yang lain saya kirim email. Kenapa mereka tidak tabrakan datanya? Because they access a different layer. I'm sorry, they access a different port number. Jadi karena mereka mengakses port number yang berbeda for each services. Jadi untuk setiap service yang ada, itu dia menggunakan port yang berbeda. Dalam kasus ini, ya, ketika misalkan kita request ya, kita request gambar, kemana kita requestnya ke sini, ya, kita mintanya destination portnya 80 berarti destination yang ada di server, kemudian data itu dikirim. Nah, asalnya dari mana? Asalnya dari 80, dari server. Ya, karena HTTP di sana. Kemudian dikirimnya ke destination port number kita di laptop kita 5927. Ya, 5927. Seperti itu. Kemudian ya, masuk kita ke layer yang paling atas, aplikasi. Layer aplikasi ya. Inilah informasi kita ya. Nah, ternyata inilah datanya. Jadi kita punya frame yang panjang itu ternyata di kebanyakan itu adalah berasal dari datanya itu sendiri gitu. Apa protokol yang dipakai untuk pengiriman datanya? Namanya HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Nah, datanya isinya apa saja? Ya, ini informasinya, ini connection alive, tag-nya apa, kemudian response-nya apa, request URL-nya apa, begitu seterusnya. Ya. Nah, seperti itu. Nah, ini kok maksudnya apa ini, Pak? Kok not modified gitu? Karena sebelumnya kita sudah akses dia punya data itu, artinya datanya itu sudah muncul di browser kita. Nah, sehingga dia tidak perlu request ulang. Itu kamu sudah punya ya, sudah not modified. Jadi nggak usah dirubah. Yang sudah loaded on your browser, ya just leave it. I will not resend I will not resend any images gitu. Saya nggak perlu kirim image yang baru. Yang penting I just need to ensure ya, I just need to ensure that your URL address is correct. Nah, jadi dia bilang ini URL-nya, kamu request ini ya gitu. Terus dia jawab, iya saya aksesnya itu apa namanya? Saya minta ini ya gitu. Dia minta ini. Saya minta dong full request access to URL ini. Kemudian dibalas nih. Oke, ya ini kamu sudah dapat akses gitu. Tapi jadi nggak perlu ada yang dirubah gitu karena kita sudah simpan datanya. Ya, seperti itu. Nah, kalau kita lihat ya, misalkan ya, saya bisa klik tidak ini. Misalkan saya copy, misalkan ya. Sorry. Saya coba copy all visible items. Oke, tadi saya copy ya, saya coba copy tadi informasinya di sini. Oke, nah let's try to access this one. Let's try to access this one. Okay, I will control V. Oke, nah kalian perhatikan setelah saya klik image tersebut, setelah saya klik URL, after I click that URL, the picture is coming here. Ya, ada picture-nya gambarnya muncul di sini. So, ya, jadi kalau misalkan ya, what is the next information that we could get from here? Jadi apa namanya, to access all of this website ya, actually we need several frame. Kita butuh frame yang banyak nih untuk mengakses satu halaman website ini. Itu karena dia terdiri dipecah-pecah dia. Pak kirim mungkin teks ini dulu, habis itu kirim backgroundnya, habis itu kita kirim gambar yang ini, habis itu kirim icon ini, habis itu kita kirim tombol yang ini dan seterusnya. Nah, makanya paket yang muncul di sini itu juga banyak sekali because they have a lot of element di dalam satu halaman ini. Mereka punya banyak elemen yang ada di dalam halaman ini. And also yeah, that's the apa namanya, conclusion kenapa for some cases that when you access website it is very very slow. Kenapa? Because ya karena elemennya sangat banyak gitu. Kok ada website yang we could access them very easy gitu ya, jadi sangat mudah kita akses, gampang ngeloadnya gitu. Tapi ada juga website kok berat sekali kita aksesnya karena banyak sekali elemen yang ada di sana. Nah, orang yang web developer engineer, they should they should try to re-engineer lah ibaratnya seperti itu, to redesign how we could create a complex website without apa namanya, without downgrade the performance gitu. Jadi bisa tidak ya kita menciptakan satu teknologi website yang dia itu meskipun elemennya banyak, kompleks isinya, tapi bisa diakses dengan cepat gitu. Nah, makanya ada istilah Web 0.2, 0.4 dan sebagainya gitu. Itu adalah bentuk inovasi yang ada dalam dunia website gitu. Nah, kita dari sisi networking melihatnya bagaimana? Ya, kita bisa melihat bahwa ya untuk membuka satu when we try to access a one website, let's say one server, it means that we collect all the frame gitu ya, from distributed data gitu. Jadi satu page itu it will be distributed on several frame and then it will be sent to us gitu ya. Seperti itu informasi yang bisa kita dapatkan. Oke, let's go back. Tadi OSI layernya ini ya. Jadi inilah this is how we illustrate the 7 OSI layer from the upper layer application and then to the very bottom layer which is a physical address. Physical, yeah, when we talk about physical, we talk about the frame. When we talk about data link, it means that we access the Ethernet, yeah, the Ethernet. This is the part of the Ethernet. And when we try to access the network, it means we access the IP address. This is the IP address. This is the layer 3. And then when we want to know what's the transport in the session that they use while sending the data, yeah, there are two options. They may be use a TCP protocol. They may be use UDP protocol. It depends of what kind of the data. Ya tergantung datanya. Kalau misalkan datanya itu misalkan kayak VoIP, video call, ya, of course they will use UDP. Kalau misalkan datanya data biasa, dia akan menggunakan TCP, ya. Terus seperti itu. Di sini kita lihatnya TCP. Kemudian dari sisi application representation, ya, dia menggunakan HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, ya. For some cases kalau misalnya kita aksesnya FTP, nanti FTP yang muncul di sini. Kalau misalkan kita aksesnya email, nanti berbeda lagi format datanya. Yeah, so that's how we see exactly OSI layers work in our network. Jadi kita sudah bisa melihat nih bagaimana OSI layer itu betul-betul dipakai standarnya di dalam jaringan. Oke. Any question so far? Ada pertanyaan mungkin sampai di sini? Apakah semuanya clear? Is everything clear? Any other questions? No? Hello? No?
Not yet.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I think let's now move to I think we skip this one because we have already explained about this. Let's move to this one, statistical hierarchy protocol. What is statistical hierarchy protocol? Ya, jadi statistical ini adalah we want to exactly know how many each layer contribute to one frame. Ya, jadi in one frame, what is the maximum or what's data that contribute? Yeah, how many data of each layer contribute. Bagaimana contohnya? Misalkan seperti ini ya. We need to click statistic on the menu and then try to click protocol hierarchy. We click one page. Okay, let's say here I click statistic. Yeah, this is my first packet. This is my first frame. Yeah, this is my first frame when we try to request to the server. Yeah, statistic and then protocol hierarchy. Oke, nah Ya, jadi ini diturunkan nih, di breakdownnya seperti apa? Ya, ternyata ya di dalam satu frame itu, ya itu bytesnya itu 100%. Artinya semua data itu ya ada di dalam frame. That's correct of course. Terus ternyata dari di dalam 100% paket itu, we see ya 66.7 itu berisinya paket yang apa namanya, maaf, berisinya itu paket yang di layer 6 ke 7 ya HTTP. Jadi ibarat kata tuh misalkan kita punya cake yang apa namanya, yang kalau kita punya cake kue gitu, sebagian besar isinya cake itu apa gitu. Oh, ada selai stroberinya, ada selai apanya dan sebagainya, ada coklatnya dan sebagainya. Nah, untuk membangun satu cake itu berapa persentase-persentasenya. Nah, ini yang dijelaskan oleh si Wireshark untuk frame yang barusan kita klik. So it's only one frame. Ini satu frame. Kemudian kalau diturunkan ke bawah, ya diturunkan ke bawah, Ethernetnya sekian, kemudian IP versi 4-nya sekian, 1.9, 2.7, ya 95.4 dan seterusnya gitu. Ya, jadi itu informasi yang kita bisa dapat gitu. Terus ada berapa dia punya throughput ya, bits per second. Ternyata masing-masing punya kecepatan yang berbeda-beda atau bandwidth yang berbeda-beda, throughput yang berbeda-beda. Ya kadang-kadang misconfusion itu di sana untuk istilah throughput sama bandwidth. Oke, seperti itu. Itu hanya informasi ya. Kalau kita mau melihat statistiknya, that's only information if you want to see and a statistic hierarchy, protocol hierarchy statistic. Okay, let's move to another task. Okay. Okay, why this important ya? Misalkan kita punya kasus 10% traffic di jaringan biasanya traffic RP. Nah, in some cases you find an RP traffic more than 50%. It means something wrong in your packet, something wrong in your network. Ya, misalkan ya there is an attack RP flooding ya. Jadi RP flooding ini salah satu attack, one type of attack to down ya your network gitu. Jadi untuk apa namanya itu menghentikan, to stop our network. Jadi tidak bekerja kita punya network. Kenapa? Karena terlalu banyak KRP di dalam ya, di dalam kita punya jaringan. And then of course we will apa itu namanya? We will investigate based on the statistic that we saw previously. Jadi kalau misalkan ternyata di dalam kok banyak banget ini ARP, jangan-jangan memang ada yang sedang jangan-jangan memang ada yang sedang melakukan attacking ke network kita ya, seperti itu. Okay, I think this is the last demo that we will explore for today's meeting. How to find a QoS parameter in Wireshark. Yeah, actually you can use you can try to practice on your own laptop. In this case, they show us the user or the host try to access to the router. Yeah, try to access to the router, and then they will try to measure the QoS performance based on this accessing the router gitu. Jadi saya kasih contoh, misalkan ya, I will try to access my own Wireshark. Saya misalkan buka saya punya Wireshark. Mana Wireshark saya? Sorry, Wireshark saya. Ya, oke, ini saya close dulu, kemudian saya akan coba capture nanti, tapi I will open my ya. Actually my router address is the same ya, saya juga punya sama 192.1.1. Yeah, so this is my router. Yeah, maybe you will face a different GUI because if you use different provider, of course you will face a different GUI of router. Okay, I think I forgot. I will restart again. Continue without saving. Yeah, I will delete this one. Stop. I will restart again. Continue without saving, and then I will try to capture. I will try to capture this one. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Oops. Oh, current filter. Okay. I just remove the filter. I will try to access my browser again. Okay. Now you will see that. Try. HTTP. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see here. I try to filter only with HTTP, and then this is my address. This is my address, and this is the destination. Yeah, 168.1.1.1. So this is actually my router. Ya, this is actually my router, as you can see here. Jadi semua trafficnya itu sudah kita capture. Maybe you will find ya. Jadi kamu akan lihat nih di sini ya. Kalau misalkan you see less packets coming ya. Jadi less packet coming here compared to the previous website. Kenapa ya? Lagi-lagi karena elemen yang ada di website ini very simple. Yeah, it means that they only need to send a very small amount of data. Ya, makanya di trafficnya juga menjadi kecil seperti itu. Okay, that's how we access our network. Then capture. Okay, after we capture, let's try to find the conversation. What's the conversation? Statistic conversation. Okay, I will click IP version 4, and then I will try to filter only for this IP address. Ya, jadi saya hanya akan gunakan. Jadi di dalam traffic yang di capture itu ada banyak sekali address yang dicoba diakses atau yang berkomunikasi communicate with my IP address, which is 1.2 gitu. Nah, apa itu ya? Start from here down here. Jadi banyak sekali. So that's why I need to try to filter out. Ya, saya akan coba filter out. Kita mau lihat conversation, percakapan my laptop with my router. So what I will try to do, I will click apply as a filter, select it. Ya, I want to see both side communications. Ya, kalau saya mau lihat komunikasi dua arahnya, berarti A ke B. Oke, saya klik apply to filter. And then remove and try to close. Now you can see here, yeah, we see a lot of packets coming here because I did try to refresh many times. Ya, tapi kita paling penting lihat di sini adalah kita bisa melihat flow komunikasinya. Ya, misalkan source coming datang ke destination, ini request ini. Kemudian dari server, ya, dari router yang 1.1. Ya, kemudian dia kirim data ke 1.2, artinya saya dapat respon dari server ke router saya, ke laptop saya, ya begitu seterusnya. Jadi inilah komunikasinya. Ya, inilah komunikasi yang berjalan yang sudah saya capture. Oke. Kemudian kenapa ya tadi kita lakukan itu untuk mempermudah analisis, jelas ya. Jadi yang muncul hanya hanya yang kita inginkan saja. Dalam kasus ini komunikasi antara router dengan laptop kita. Okay. Now we try to find the delay packet ya. Nah, untuk melihat delay, we need to revise some understanding about delay. Delay is the time amount that we use when we send our data. We send our data and what time it will arrive in the receiver. Itu adalah delay. Jadi berapa waktu yang dibutuhkan untuk mengirim data itu adalah delay. So, what happens here? Ketika kita mengirim data, this is the first one. I send my data coming from source, which is my laptop 1.2. go to the destination 1.1, which is my router. Okay, I send my data. After I send my data, I get response. Yeah, I get response from the server, which is my router. Yeah, to my laptop. Uh, if we see that, ya, kalau kita melihat itu, now we see one packets coming, one my laptop to the router and then coming back to me, ya, dari router ke my laptop gitu, ya, seperti itu. And then, ya, we will try to measure the times, ya, berapa waktu yang dibutuhkan, ya. Nah, berapa waktu yang dibutuhkan. Oke. Okay? And then in order to do that, yeah, we will see. Yeah, there are several ways to do that. The first one we could see from here. Yeah, I will click these packets and then I will see the TCP here, and then I will check the time stamp. Okay, this timestamp. Okay, you see 000. I click here. When the second frame, yeah, I see the time frame again. Yeah, time since first frame in this TCP. Jadi first TCP-nya kan start from 00, ya, start from 00 timestamp-nya. And then I see the other packets coming, ya, coming to me, receive me, ya, itu munculnya ketika 0.0021761 seconds. So it means what is the conclusion? It needs, ya, sejumlah ini waktu yang dibutuhkan untuk untuk datangnya paket tersebut gitu. Jadi itulah delaynya, itulah waktunya yang dibutuhkan untuk melihat berapa waktu yang dibutuhkan untuk data itu sampai ke kita lagi, ya. Jadi we send the first frame and then we see response coming to us again from the router gitu. Nah, datangnya kapan? Di waktu yang ada di sini. Oke, itu. Jadi makanya, ya, let's say here, based on this slide, when we try to measure the delay, ya, kalau kita mau mengukur delaynya, berarti kita harus lihat, ya, frame di awalnya datangnya kapan, dan datang frame berikutnya itu kapan. Nah, selisih between the first frame to the second frame is actually the delay, ya, seperti itu. Nah, ini diilustrasikan. Nah, untuk lebih memudahkan kita bisa melihatnya di layar utama, maka kita bisa klik ini, apply as a column, ya, apply as a column. Yang mana yang kita apply as a column? I will click my time here and then I will click apply as a column. Okay. Okay, nah, as you can see here, you will see a new column here, time since first frame in this TCP stream, ya. Nah, jadi kalau kalian perhatikan, ini adalah time-nya, ya, dari let's say misalkan dari sini nih, TCP, let's say ini TCP here, ya, ini memulainya dari 000, and then the second frame coming. Nah, selisihnya berarti adalah 71 gitu. Jadi microsecond ini, ya. Nanosecond gitu. Jadi 718 nanosecond. Nah, jadi itu adalah delaynya, ya, karena selisih between this frame with this frame, ya. Jadi as you can see here, ya, delay is actually the difference time between ini, ya. In this case 0.1 minus 0.1081, and this is the difference. So it means this is the delay, ya. Jadi itu delay. Jadi sederhananya itu frame muncul, kemudian muncul lagi frame berikutnya. Nah, antara frame pertama dengan frame kedua, ya, delaynya durasinya berapa waktunya. Nah, itulah delaynya. Itulah yang disebut dengan delay. Maybe you see why there are a lot of variation here. Kok banyak sekali, Pak, variasi di sini gitu. Ya, itulah yang terjadi. Artinya apa? Ternyata paket yang coming or communicate between 1.1 to 1.2, it has a variation of delay. Nah, variasi delay inilah yang kita sebut dengan jitter gitu. Karena tidak setiap paket itu dia mengalami delay yang sama. So, Pak kok bisa beda-beda gitu? Maybe the size of packet is different, ya kayak di sini nih. The length-nya different, ya panjangnya paketnya berbeda. Of course, when you have a longer packet, it means they will be processed longer than the small size of packet gitu. That maybe contribute to your delay gitu. Or maybe the quality of the signal as well. Ya mungkin kualitasnya juga pada saat paket itu dikirim jelek, makanya delaynya juga besar. Ya, seperti itu. That's the first one. And the second one, we need to see the throughput or capacity or some of them say the bandwidth gitu. Nah, apa yang bisa kita lakukan? Ya, it is very simple. Ya, it is very simple. We just need to click, right click on this parameter, and then you will see TCP stream graph, and then you will see the throughput. That's right. Sorry. We need to go to the TCP. And then acknowledgement number. Then kok saya ngomong? Why it doesn't appear? Saya nggak tahu why when I try to right click doesn't, ini tidak muncul di sini TCP-nya, but it's okay lah, we could try another way. Jadi kita tinggal pilih tadi apa statistik, kemudian we click TCP stream graph, and then you can click throughput. Sorry, so this is throughput, ini adalah throughputnya. So what information? Apa informasi yang kita bisa dapat di sini? So by the times, dari sisi waktu, when it reach 1.0, maybe 1 to something here, itu we reach, average throughputnya itu more than 1,000 bits per second, so this is the average. So the throughput coming from, you will see from this information from 1.1, which is from our router to our network 1.2, which is our laptop, the throughputnya itu ada di angka more than 1,000, 1,000 bit per second, itu adalah informasi throughput, Jadi throughput itu kan sebenarnya lebih ke arah berapa nih kecepatan gitu, kecepatan bukan kecepatan sebenarnya, tapi lebih ke arah capacity sebenarnya. Jadi berapa paket yang bisa lewat. I will give you some illustration again. For example, people get confused between bandwidth and throughput. Oke, saya beli IndiHome 10 megabit per second misalkan gitu. Bandwidthnya sekian katanya. Tapi ternyata my real experience, let's say we only could reach the maximum is 4 megabit per second. So that's exactly the throughput. Itulah throughputnya. Maksimum berapa dia maksimum kecepatan datanya. Dalam kasus ini, it is possible to reach more than 1,000 bits per second, for this frame gitu. Seperti itu. That's how we see throughput. Kalau ini seperti ini. Okay, again, this is the average. Okay, seperti itu. I think that's all for for today. Any other question? Any other question for this session? I think I will show you one another interesting fact about Wireshark. Yeah, this is try to access try to access uh, try to access this one. Try to access this one. Okay, techpanda.org. Try to access this one. Techpanda.org. What's information that we could get from here? Yeah, this is the domain, and then you will see here. Yeah, it's not secure. Why it's not secure? Because it doesn't implement the HTTPS, secure HTTP. Yeah, actually the same with this one. It's not secure. Yeah, connection is not secure karena protokol yang dia pakai itu HTTP. Yang mana HTTP is not secure. Ya, kenapa dia tidak secure? Karena dia bisa di capture. Ya, tadi by the time that we try to refresh these pages, we see all the packets through our network here, through in our mengalir di dalam Wireshark kita. It's dangerous, ya, ini berbahaya because people could intercept our communication. That's what we call as a sniffer, gitu kan. Dia bisa intercept kita punya komunikasi. Nah, I will show you the illustration for that. Yeah, let's try to recapture again, and then I will remove the filter, so I will receive all the packets coming through, and then let's try to open this one. I will try to refresh Techpanda. I will try to refresh. Okay, we just refresh. Let me try to input my email. Fardan@fardan.com, for example, and then I try to submit. Don't save. Okay, and then I'm going to stop. Yeah, to stop my capture process here, and then I will try to find some information. Let's say I'm going to find. Please show me string in packet details. This is the packet details. Jadi saya coba melakukan proses pencarian yang string, ya, berupa karakter yang mungkin muncul that probably appear in my packet details, ya, dalam bentuk packet details yang ada di sini. Oke, di dalam semua traffic yang sudah saya capture. Let's try. Is it possible? Yeah, I try to search. I try to input query for password. Okay, now you can see here. Yeah, there is a communication that has password in that. In these pages, yeah, in this information that you will see, yeah, when they try to access the website techpanda.org, there is an element on that website called password. Yeah, this is the password. I will try another one. Click password again, and then you will see, yeah, the times that I submit, yeah, that I submit my information on the web page, yeah, I submit my email and then I submit my password, yeah, you can capture it. Yeah, people can capture this information. Yeah, people can sniff this information. Why it is possible? Because the communication that we use to access this website is not secure, which is only use HTTP. That's why it is dangerous, ya. Ini sangat berbahaya sekali kalau kita pakainya HTTP. So that's why when you create a website, ya, itu kalau bisa pasti harus diinstal pakai HTTPS, ya, pakai secure HTTP. Yeah, because we want to prevent people, yeah, people try to sniff other user when they try to access our website gitu. Jadi kita mau prevent attacker kalau dia mau sniff kita punya informasi. Ya. Another illustration, ya, misalkan, ya, mungkin pertanyaan, ini kan saya capture sendiri, Pak. Ya, ini saya capture sendiri. Tapi kalau misalkan, ya, dalam satu jaringan, ya, maybe I create my own fake wireless LAN, ya. I will create my own fake access point. If I make my own fake access point, people get internet access through my fake access point. And then I will perform downgrade attack. What is downgrade attack? Everything that you access HTTPS, then I will downgrade them to HTTP. Jadi kalau semua tadi by default akses website itu HTTPS, kemudian saya downgrade ke HTTP. Nanti semua informasi mau login, password, apa yang kamu nonton, apa yang kamu buka website, apa yang kamu sedang buka dan sebagainya, ya I can state that using very simple tools, Wireshark. Nah, so itu another information that why Wireshark is important, because it's not only about quality of your network, it's not only about digital forensic, it's not only about how to analyze what happened in your network, tapi ini juga bisa dipakai for security reason, ya, untuk alasan keamanan juga bisa dipakai, because we could perform attack from here, ya makanya that's why we need to secure our network, our server and everything. Okay, I think that's all for today. Any other questions before we end this meeting? No? Hello? No questions?
No, sir.
Okay, if there is no questions, it's okay. For 6 meeting, for week 6, record sessionnya itu sudah saya posting di grup, ya. If you want to revise, please do that. If there is any task, if there is any task, I will update in in our group begitu. So I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for coming, and then thank you very much for your attention. Try to explore by your own yourself, install Wireshark on your laptop and try to explore with your own network, hope that we could understand, about the OC layer deeper using Wireshark. Okay, thank you very much. See you again when I see you, Jadi kita mungkin ketemu lagi nanti. Saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Pak.